My beloved people, I'd like to greet you once more this afternoon of Sunday, the 8th of March 2026, as I welcome you to our channel once more. I thought for today's session, I will try not to be technical. I'll try not to be too specifically technical. I'll tackle a subject which is of a broad nature, but which is also still of critical importance and relevance. As I said last week, South Africa this month of March 2026 is going to host its inaugural Innovation Week event or conference in Sandton, Gauteng. And I thought, given that relevance, and also, as I said also last week, the fact that almost all public sector entities, government and public sector entities in South Africa will mark the end of their financial year on the 31st of this month, and therefore they will report on their on the year's activities, 2025 to 2026 year's activities, and also advise us as the public, as the community, of their programs and programs, agenda, and intentions for the year ahead, and perhaps and beyond. So given that, I thought, and also the point that I've consistently made, that innovation, at the core of innovation, as the driver of driver, especially in terms of support and provision of institutional institutional framework and environment in which innovation will thrive. At the core of that is the public sector and all entities associated with it. So given that, and also the fact that obviously that even that the conference that I've just referred to will be led by government in one way or another. So I thought I should say this. I should raise today's subject or broad theme. Like, what I'm saying is that we have a responsibility as a society, as led by government, or as supported in the main by government, and then driven and led by other sectors of the of society, with the intellectual and the intellectual capital and human resources and capabilities to implement and drive transformation and innovation in all sectors of our society. That we make, and here's the point that I'm saying, like, innovation must be made fashionable. It must be made fashionable, basic, and necessary. It must be fashionable, it must trend, it must be fashionable, it must trend, it must be basic, it must be necessary, in all sectors of society as led, or rather as supported and institutionally and otherwise by government and public sector. How do we? I must make sure that it must be the in thing as we move forward as a society. Because as I've argued before, unless we innovate as a society in South Africa and as a country and Africa as a continent, we won't make any progress. The world is moving so fast. It's moving at such a it's breathtaking speed, gigantic and breathtaking speed, that unless you are at the front and moving along, striving forward, then in the innovative environment, we are effectively being left behind. And if we are left behind, then there will be no development. Nothing else would work for us as a people and as a society. You see, in economics, in the arts, in the culture, in sports, in everything, in all aspects of society, we won't make the impact that we are supposed to do in order to register progress and socio-economic benefits. So for us to be in a position to do that, we must, as I said, we must make sure that all institutions, innovation is made basic, necessary, and fashionable. And that is translated in all aspects, is translated and transmitted throughout society in all aspects of our living. And then we should have a situation where, as I've said earlier in my other contribution, in one of my earlier videos, that all ministries, all departments, all leadership authorities at all tiers of government and society, at national, provincial, districts, and local municipality level, even at street levels, leaders there have incorporated, or not even incorporated, embedded in their performance management systems the key matter of innovation. And then we find a way of monitoring and measuring that and rewarding it accordingly and appropriately. That's the key. So I'm raising this. This is the importance of this upcoming conference. Is in that context. It's a worthwhile cause. It's something worthy of supporting and supporting and encouraging. And I would like such initiatives to be made, or means of to be found of having them transmitted to all levels. All 9 provinces should have tailor-made innovation programs for them, all of them, not one should be left behind. And if anything, the provinces must compete and cooperate at the same time. They must compete and cooperate at the same time on innovation. And all metros, all 8 or 9 or whatever the number of them are, and then from those metros, then district municipalities and, and local municipalities. In conclusion, let me say let me emphasize, let me hasten as I close to say that let us make, as we mark this Innovation Week that's going to be held in sometime this month, let us make innovation fashionable. And I like us in particular, as practitioners in the national system of innovation, those of us who are active participants, to engage with that in mind for the benefit of the people of our country and our continent. I think let me leave it there for tonight, reminding you to subscribe to the channel, like the videos, comment on the content and the methodology of delivery. Utemba Wagamataba, as I sign off, I say bye-bye.